Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome. Welcome to the Karan Detani show. This is your friend and your host, Karan Detani. And this is Love Your Body Now. Our guest speaker for today is Michaela R. Ellis, and she's going to talk about loving your body. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Michaela. Hi, Michaela. Welcome.
Thank you, Karan. How are you?
I'm doing great. So, Michaela,
Good.
before we start, could you please tell us something about yourself and the work that you do?
Sure. Well, I help people to see their body more as a vehicle for self-expression. That's how I see it. And rather than something that, something in the way, something that it isn't. Because in our society, we get so much information telling us how we need to be and what we need to be and how we need to look to fit in order to, and it's just a bunch of hogwash. So I help people to get back to who they really are and to learn where their experience is coming from, so they have more agency in their life and really think about the body way less. So I work through private and group programs. And yeah, what else would you like to know?
Wonderful. So, Michaela, these days I see lots of people, uh, they don't like their body. Some people are fat, some people are too short, too tall, some people are bald. So their body causes them to feel bad and sad. So is it really the body that makes them feel bad, or is it something else?
It is so something else. Yeah, it's not the body at all. And I mean, we, in this earthly existence that we have, it is natural and normal to contrast, compare, to see things, but we put a negative slant on it. What does the negative slanting is our thoughts about it. You know, we've been conditioned to believe certain things even from very young, right? So yeah, it's truly our perspective on it. So I have a number of slides today that I'll speak to this too, and I'll show how we can, you know, we can all be looking at the same thing and see something different. So we know it's not true. We know that it's all made up, because what's true doesn't change. Yeah. It's a
Wonderful.
start.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Sure. So let me ask you this question. People are being overweight or being underweight or not looking good. Is it something that is coming from their past? Is it like their past trauma, or is it something else? I see lots of people hating them. I mean, not themselves, just their body, condemning them, judging them. So, what is the real cause?
Well, first, the idea about looking good or not looking good, I think that's all perspective. And because it's really not about the outside, it's really about the feeling that's coming from within. So when, yes, the dis-ease in the body and addiction and, you know, using substances to help us make us feel better, it's coming from a place of pulling, you know, memories, thoughts, experiences from the past and throwing this future imaginings into the mix, and really getting into a state of confusion and insecurity, and that creates tension in the body. Part of my well, I still do some energy healing work, some energy work, but it can create blockages in the body energetically that we experience it. So all of our thinking we do feel in the body, and that can if we're not aware. I might be repeating some of this later because it's part of in my slides, but I think that's okay. If we're not aware of what we're really experiencing, that is when we can get into trouble, because we start looking in the wrong places for the answers, for a solution. And that's where addiction and, emotional eating, I have a lot of experience with that. That's where that can come in. And it can wreak havoc in the health of our body. But we use it to feel better. Yeah.
Okay. And is it the same thing for the physical diseases that people have? Some people have long-term chronic pain. No matter how much they try to get rid of that, they go to doctors, hospitals, people, healers.
Mm,
After all the years of hard work, they just get nothing. So,
yeah.
so what is
Yeah.
the real cause of the physical diseases? Is it
Well, we need to be practical here too, because we do have physical bodies that have an unknown expiration date, where our bodies are created by this magnificent source energy to be expressed through, but it's finite. It's not here forever. So there will be things that will go on. So I can't really speak to that, but I do know that when we are allowing the flow and the guidance of who we truly are, that energetic source energy creator that is expressing through us, when we allow that more, there is more ease, more relaxation, more openness, more flow in the systems of our body as well. So, I'm sure we've all experienced where we've had pain, and then we, get busy doing something and we forget about it. And then we remember it and it's just like, oh yeah, hurts, like limping. It's happened, so there definitely is a correlation. Yes, we still do have a finite body that does expire and things happen to it. Does that help? Because yes, the correlation with the thinking, the more attention or focus you put on something, the bigger it gets. So when I do hear that we'll put, I've done it myself, we'll put injuries or sickness or depression, I've used that too, or anxiety in the way of doing the things that I really love to do in my body. I've used ADD, about a year ago, my doctor says, yeah, I think you have adult ADHD. Came up in COVID and all that. And I kept saying, I'm not, it's good information. I'm not going to label myself with that and use it as an excuse. But I did. I found that I did. And why? Because it allowed me to push off or avoid or sidetrack some things that were there for me to do that I was afraid to do. So I used it as an excuse. And I can see that that can innocently happen, where, for example, if someone is, very busy, let's take a household. I'll use my own. If actually something comes to mind, but I don't want to get off track. When I discovered that I had sort of traits of high sensitivity, I found I started to use that as excuses to not partake, that I needed more help and all of this. And really, I didn't. It was just really great information. So once I came to a place of seeing that, you know what, I'm going to get help. If I ask for help, I'll get it. I don't need to use something as an excuse to get the help that I really need. So sometimes I've witnessed it and personally experienced that we can use it as an excuse. And usually it's because we're maybe a little bit afraid or worried, overthinking. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. I want to go back to the last question that I want to ask you. After that, we can see the slides where you will explain how to love your body and all the concepts. The last question is, uh, how can someone who thinks they don't look good just love themselves? If I'm ugly, how can I love myself?
Mm. Well, first of all, who's saying that you are?
Well, that's
Right?
me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So well, you know what? Can we jump into the slides? And I think that might come up.
Oh,
But
great.
it's really, it truly is all our perspective and what we think. So yeah, if that's cool with you, let's jump in and then we can actually see some diagrams that will sort of depict this, and it might make it more, just make it a little maybe easier to describe as well.
Sure.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Okay. Awesome. Cool. Thank you. So I do have a few slides that I'm going to kind of go in and out of. And so I'll sort of talk about a number of things. If you have questions, Karan, that you want to prompt me to, and then when I'm just looking at the time, so I'll try and do that in about 10 minutes, and then we'll just open for Q&A and see where it goes from there. Sound good? And I do have with your permission, I would love to share with you a new program that I'm doing. It's actually an iteration of one that I did in the spring. And it was about living delightfully in your body with ease and comfort, and had some great results. And we all agreed that it was too short. We did it in 4 weeks. So this next one is 12 weeks. So if you're okay with that, I will sort of talk about that at the end, and I'll ask you then.
Sure.
All right. So your body, as I see it, it is a vehicle for self-expression. And all your true nature ever really wants to do is to express through it and then experience it. And it does this 24/7. It's always running through you. It's always animating you. So, but we have all these advice and rules and information, and it becomes like hard to listen and follow our own inner wisdom, our own true nature. So, and then that becomes the decision to make. Once you have an understanding of this, then you have a choice where you can, and it'll choice, no choice. We'll see. You do have a choice, but sometimes we get into habit and it becomes a little trickier. But we have a choice to listen to the outside noise or listen to the inside guidance of our own source energy. And really, it's the designer, it's the creator of our universe and everything that we are. So it's something that we can trust. But really, I didn't know I could. It took a while for that to happen. And sometimes it happened in certain situations, like in just from one thought to the next. So it's something that can be developed. So all you can do is to either allow that creative force to guide you, or you oppose it. And the other thing to know is that you experience in the body the feeling of your thinking. So this is my family. And I use this sort of I use, I think I showed earlier, I use a little whiteboard with my clients because I find it very helpful to draw this out. And this is how I see the world. Now, I see source sort of, it's our foundation. It's my grounding, and it gives life. So what I call source, or your true nature, creator, universal energy, God, guides, wisdom, there, it's all that pure guidance. And really, the essence of it is love or joy or peace or bliss. But it gives life to each and every one of us. It is giving us life and living through us, living us, whether we're aware of it or not. Now, I'll show you a few things on here that we all have thoughts going around through our mind every moment of every day. Yeah. And how much thinking or how little thinking, just, it depends on what we're putting our attention on. So a little bit about me. I do have experience myself with bulimia when I was in my late teens, early 20s, emotional eating, and even I'll share an experience a little bit later if we have time. Around that, I've seen a lot. I misused alcohol for a number of years, and so I've always felt, in no matter what shape and what fitness level my body was in, it was like never enough. It wasn't good enough. And when it was in like top condition, then there was this fear that was always like buzzing along under the surface to like maintain it, keep it. So it was just like a lot of stress and pressure, right? So yeah, so my mission really is to help people to see this in a more simplistic way, how we really create our experiences. So I said that we have this energy source, and it is always flowing through us. It's always guiding us, and we can either allow it or we can oppose it. Now, what does it look like when we allow it? It looks great. It looks like easy when we get an inspired idea, and it doesn't have to be this big, huge thing. It's like, oh, I'm going to go for a walk. And it's like, yeah, and it feels good. And you go, if you follow it and continue on, go on, you feel good, more ease in your body. Karan?
Yeah, Michaela, I've got a question that is, I saw the picture earlier. Could you open that? Yeah. So here we can see your family and also animals. So do animals also think?
Yeah, yes, they do. Maybe not like, I don't know if an amoeba thinks, but I know dogs do. Apparently dogs they can understand, like, I can't remember how many words in the English language now that you can teach them. They have, but there is instinct. So we all have an animal instinct, even we, although because we are able to think, we cloud it over with so much thought that it distorts the wisdom that's trying to guide us. And we get to a place where we're just in a state of confusion or overwhelm because there's just so much thought stacking. The dog and the cat, they get an urge and they just go do it. Or my dog, we've trained him that when it's time to eat, he cannot eat his food until we say yes. Oh, just a little example of conditioning. And we've conditioned each other like that too. Oh, I just saw something new for myself. So good. Are you okay if I continue? Because we're already half past.
Sure.
Wow. Yeah. No, did you have something else that was kind of related to that?
Yeah, so far what I'm understanding is that this is our thinking that affects how we feel. Okay. But I also would like to know if we like condemn our body, criticize it or hate it, uh, isn't it a good idea to like make our best efforts to look good, to look the best? We can do this question
Yeah.
later. Yeah.
Yes. here, short answer, I think
Yeah.
it's best to feel good. And how you feel good is following your source, is allowing source to guide you. Because here's the thing, source created, well, I'll carry on, but source created us. So like, who knows better than source what I should be eating, what kind of body movement I should do, how much, when? Like, why don't we let that guide us instead of all the other, keto and there's so many of them. I've tried so many of them too,
Yeah.
temporary. So here's
So,
what it looks to
mhm,
allow. Yeah,
mhm.
go ahead.
So this source, God, or our true nature. So you are saying that it is always guiding us. So I want to know, how is it always guiding us to even help us change the shape of our body to even look better?
Mm. Well, when you become, well, let me just continue. And I think some of these may be answered. Okay, thank you. So when you're allowing, this is kind of how it looks. And when you're opposing, this is how it looks. So you get an inspired idea or a nudge. You get a nudge to, have a piece of pizza. And it's like, yeah, pizza. And then all of a sudden, all the thinking comes in. Well, wait a minute, pizza's bad for me. Oh my God, there's all that fat and there's carbs. And it's like, ooh, there's that processed meat. And maybe I should. And before you know it, all this messy thinking is felt in the body. You feel tension, strain. We sink into all kinds of thinking when we're listening to all the voices out there, instead of just going with that first original. Here's how you can kind of tell. You have an idea, it feels good. If you start to oppose it, you start thinking, no, I can't, I don't know how, or I shouldn't, or maybe, I don't know, what if this happens? The energy dives. That's how you can feel whether you're allowing source to flow through you and guide you, or you're opposing it. Yeah. And it feels hard. It feels hard and effortful. So when I created the first presentation I did last week, I had sticky notes and it was just like bloop, 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 bloop. All of these ideas came up and I knew how to do it. And it was very easy. And then I thought, okay, well, now I need to put it into a document to make it nice and neat and tidy and everything in me. And I created this crazy thing that in the end, I couldn't even follow. I went against my true nature. I went against, and I just expanded. So even in the simplest everyday things, we can feel the effects in our body of going against what we're being guided to. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, okay. So let me just show you. So we do have thoughts passing through our mind all the time. They're there. And it's up to, we have a choice of whether we can give them a meaning or not. When we understand that they're going by, and if you just let them go by, they will carry on through and they won't really affect us very much. We'll feel like light. But as soon as an idea comes in, it's just like, ooh, what if, okay, they're going to be driving on the road. It's 28 degrees minus. What if they get a flat tire? What if they, all of this thinking, it's like a waste of energy, time, and strain and stress on the body. We go through this, like, how many body thoughts do you have a day? So many body thoughts. I have less body thoughts. I'm not clear of all body thoughts, but what I was thinking about first thing in the morning is just like, oh, I'd feel my belly. And then I'd think about, oh, what am I going to eat? And I shouldn't, and I should go for a run, and into the, and it's just like, oh, I don't want to. And it's, there's a lot of thinking going on, and it's not helpful. But if you know it, that's very helpful. That's very helpful. And you can only live in the moment. Oh, really? Just a point here. Yeah, we're either grabbing stuff from the past, which is thought. We can't touch the past. We can't live in the past. All that we are experiencing when we think about the past is just a thought about the past. A memory is thought. That's it. When we imagine, the same thing. It's like, that is thought. It's all made up. When we see how incredibly powerful we are, that we can create our experience with our thinking, it opens us up to a place of, oh my gosh, well, what do I truly desire? What would be delightful? And that becomes available to you. Nothing out there can make you feel anything. And that includes the body. You are this, I represent it as a heart. You are source energy flowing through you. That is what you really are. Your body is just the vehicle that you express through. It's just the thing that's animated that allows source to experience all the delightful things that we are able to experience in this earthly existence. And because source is like infinite, which I just cannot wrap my head around, but I know, because I've experienced it personally, that even the most delightful things that I can imagine experiencing in my life and making happen, I've seen that, oh my gosh, there's so much more, because my knowledge is finite. My knowledge here is finite. This here is infinite. When we allow that to guide us, rather than looking at all the information out here, what I should eat, what I should do, how often, how much, do I need to fast, hit high intensity, blah, 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 whatever it is, it's just like, what if I just tuned in and slowed down and listened and just saw what came up for me to eat, to drink, to do? Yeah, that is available to all of us. And life is way easier that way, way more delightful. Yeah, that's all you ever experience. You don't even experience your body. Your body is outside of you too. It can't make you feel anything. Only you're thinking about it. And yeah. Okay. So your body is present to your thoughts. I have a story. This is a fairly recent story. I stayed at a friend's house, and she had some different foods that I don't typically keep in my house. So for the first while, I was, just having it, and I was observing myself eating this food. And then I did a little experiment, and that was to sit with it instead of going to it. Because like, why was I wanting it? It's like, oh, because I never have it. Because I don't, and I didn't want to deprive myself. I just wanted to go and indulge. And it's like, well, do I really want it? Like, am I really hungry? It's like, I just thought, let's just sit and see what happens if I don't. And I sat with the feeling that was underneath this urge to go and get more and more and more of this. And I was absolutely shocked to experience shame. And it wasn't shame around food or anything like that. I just felt this intense like shame. And I shed a couple of tears and I was like, wow, like I never would have expected that. And from then on, the rest of the time that I stayed there, it was just like, oh, I'm good. I'm good. I don't have it. I actually got some and I had it at home, and it was like, it wasn't this drive. So we never know what's there that's driving us to hide from or avoid, right? So the body, so you pick up the senses of what you're thinking in the body, and then your body feeds it back to her. So really your body is just an indicator of whether your thoughts are for or against your true nature guidance in the moment. Truly, it's very simple. And it's the vehicle for you to express it. So it's not your mate getter or your acceptability factor or, your worthiness scale. It has nothing to do with that. No matter the attributes of your body, you can experience what you truly desire now, and the body will respond to support you in the having of it. So this whole idea of what you are, I can have that. Let me just go back here. This here. Something comes up. I immediately feel the delight in whatever it comes up. I feel it now. My body is the same as what it was when a moment ago I was thinking crap thoughts about it. Yet now I can feel this nudge from source and it feels good. I can experience it without any physical change happening in my body. But here's the thing, that what happens, okay, as you learn to follow it, it may happen that your body will change. Here's an example. I wanted to feel more agile and I wanted to feel more contained like in my core. It was a feeling. It was the word I'm using. It may not mean the same to you, but it was a feeling that I wanted. And it's just like, and it wasn't like, I want it. It was just like, oh, I want to feel like strong, contained together and agile. And then it wasn't long. And I thought, oh, I'm going to do yoga. And I've tried to do yoga and I've tried to stick to yoga, and it just wasn't happening. But this came from inside. This was not a conjured up, I'm going to do this and I'm going to muster through. My body changed. I followed, and I'm continuing to follow what I'm being inspired to do. I am still doing it. It's been a few months now. I do totally feel contained and strong and agile. So my body changed, but I didn't try and diet. I didn't force myself to do yoga. I do what I feel like I want to do. So one day I might go for a run. There's a local running group. I'm going to join it. I want to do more running, but I want it to be social. I don't want to run by myself. So following this is intuitive living. This is intuitive living, and it's available. It's available to all of us. So one client, she gone through the program, and she said that she was feeling more confident and comfortable in her body and started dressing differently, accepting who she is, even before any big changes happened in her body. It's a feeling you can experience now. So there's no need to wait. And let me just show you this one. Oops, where's my mirrors? There we go. Once you know that you're experiencing the feelings of only your own thinking about your body, you'll start to catch the feelings. You'll catch when you're feeling stress or strain in your body. You'll catch when you have a lot of thinking about it. And you'll know, oh, it's not my body. I have all these things that I have been thinking about it. And I am still thinking about it, and it still pops up, but you will notice it. Now that we're having this conversation, you're all going to notice the thoughts that pop up around your food, around what you put in your mouth, around how you move your body, around what you really desire to experience within your body and towards your body. I choose honor. And I didn't actually, let me change, the words are so, I didn't choose it. It's like, what do I want? What kind of a relationship do I want to have with my body? And then this word bubbled up, honor. It's like, yes, I want to honor it. I just got goosebumps. I just want to point out in this picture, from one moment to the next, you can look in the mirror and feel cruddy. And then you can walk in a few minutes later and feel like, oh, it's okay. And then you can look and you can have all kinds of feelings and thoughts and feelings about, and it'll be up, but it's not necessarily a sustainable. If there's a whole lot of thinking, it's not a sustained, happy state because it's not kind of relaxing. So the less thought that we really attach onto, the more peace, calm, open, and health we have in our body. Is this helpful? Can you just thumbs up? Or is there things like, oh my God, I have no idea what she's talking about? Thank you. Thank you. I only see a couple of you. Just see. I appreciate that. Thank you. Okay. Right. I wanted to share about Tika as well. So you become a better listener. And you're listening, you might listen to your body first, and then you'll start to catch the feeling. You may notice it in your body first, and then as you get more and more tuned in, you will feel it in your body. That's where you feel it. But it'll be quicker. So I know Tika, she said in the exploration that we did earlier in the year, she said, exploring the ways that she was thinking about her body, she gained a new understanding that allowed her to kind of reframe what she was thinking about it. So it's helpful. And your body is always fit for the purpose that you give it. Running a marathon or supporting you sitting at your desk for 8 hours, Monday through Friday. It will always support you. It's like your puppet. It's like, because who you really are is source energy, and your body is just something that you're having do your bidding. So when you get those inspired ideas, you can just go and do. That's available to you. I missed a slide here, so I might have missed some notes too, but that's okay because we're moving along quicker in time than I thought. I wanted to share this one. This was about addiction, right? So any kind of addiction, or we might call, there is a physicalness to our bodies. So there may be a craving. I had a caffeine withdrawal this past week. So you could say that, my body may have been craving it. Was it? I don't think it was craving it. I think it was saying, thank you, Michaela, because I don't really need it. It doesn't make sense to me that my body would go through withdrawal of something. I don't know. I think there's something, there's going to be something in there for me to explore for myself. But what addiction really is, it's a means of distraction. We have some cruddy thinking, heavy thinking, and we get into a feeling, we want to avoid it. If we don't understand that it's we ourselves are creating it with this incredible power of thought and thinking that we have, and that we're either allowing source to guide us or we're resisting it. And we're resisting often because we're afraid, or we've seen other people do it and, oh my God, look what happened to them. I don't want that to happen to me. Or it's like, what if somebody sees me? What if I don't do well? What if somebody laughs? What if somebody judged? All of these what ifs. And then we feel that pain. And if we don't understand it, we look for the easiest things, and maybe things that we've innocently been given since we were kids. Have a cookie. Have this. Have a blanket. We all know that when a little toddler is attached to a blanket and they can't sleep, we all know that that blanket isn't keeping them safe. It's like a sense of comfort, but it's false comfort. So imbibing in all of the things that we may use to distract, because really it's not fixing anything. All it's doing is distracting us and taking some of the thinking off of our mind. It's distracting us from some of that thinking so that it's like, oh, there, I feel better when I have a drink. I feel better when I exercise the crap out of my body. I feel better when I watch 8 hours of TV. And actually, sometimes I indulge in several hours of Netflix. Absolutely. And I do it consciously. It's like, yeah, I'm going to do this. And there's sometimes when I know that, oh, I'm avoiding. I am afraid to do that thing, and I am avoiding. I know it. And sometimes I do it anyways, because it's just like, I just need a little more time. So the thing is, though, the pain is still there. It's just covered up. So this is really all about awareness. It's all about just being aware. As you gain more trust in that energetic force that created your body system, the nourishing and the maintaining of the body, it'll become like easier, lighter, and really you'll have way less thinking about your body. That was a relief to me. So it's not that we are with our body 24/7. Every time we do anything, our body is right there with us. So we put a lot on it. But really, it's our ride. It's our ride. So let's listen to the creator of that ride in how to have it feel good for us. And ultimately, what truly excites me is actually doing things in your life that you truly want. It's following your desire. It's doing the things that you've been putting off because you've been afraid, or you don't want anyone to, you're hiding out. There's so much more available to each and every one of us. It excites me to know that. That's how I want to help people. I want to help them get there and realize that, and just drop a whole lot of thinking about a whole lot of everything. Yeah. So do you have questions? Then let me stop this share. Hey, Sander. Anybody, if you want to put up your hand, if you have a question or anything, or share something you saw or whatever you like. Hi, Darlene.
Hi. I just wanted to thank you very much. Just kind of reiterating the information that I had during our coaching sessions when we had talked about the pain that I have when I'm in bed and I get up, and how I bend over and I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry. Well, all week I've been laying in bed, and before I get up, I'm like, man, this is just so great. I can get up and I can just walk out of my room. And it has been working.
Oh,
I just I just get goosebumps thinking about it. So to know and to have that's so true about the thought. The pain is there, but it's not debilitating as it was that I thought it was. You know what I mean? Like I have osteoarthritis, and so and like it was amazing. I was like, so every day when I get up, I can just get up and go. It's awesome. Thank you.
I'm thrilled for you, Darlene. Absolutely thrilled. That's so awesome. Hi, Victoria.
Hi, thanks, Michaela. It was a very wonderful presentation and explanation. One question come into my mind because I am exploring and try to find my answer as well about it. But for example, what's your thoughts about menopause and symptoms and related mood change? Because I started to experiencing it, and sometimes I says that it can't be that it's all is thoughts, just the hormone changes a little bit have to overreact or express it more, or I don't know what's the good word for it, but it's, well, do you have any thoughts on it, or what's your experience, for example?
Yeah. Well, here's what my doctor told me when with menopause and then low thyroid and I was gaining weight and he said, yep, that's what happens. And it's like, come on. So I believed that for a long while, and I used it as an excuse. Actually, here's the thing. Now, Source is going to guide you in your body for you specific. So what would work for me may not be anything that's going to work for you. Source might put someone in front of you who had an experience of, yeah, I got, this vitamin and it really helped me. And you might go, okay, well, maybe. And then maybe the next week or 2 weeks later, you run into someone else and they say, hey, or for me, I got this vitamin. And it's just like, same thing. Ask for a sign. Just be open to what comes up. I believe you're going to be guided. We all are just being guided. And you may be guided to do something for your body. Maybe it'll be like, I'm just going to throw out a wide variety of things. Maybe a friend will say, hey, let's go for a hike. And maybe it's really extreme. I don't know. Maybe someone, says that they did a meditation and it's I don't even know. I can't even guess how Source would be, what would be offered for you. So what I'm saying is follow the feeling. So when something comes up, I think I need to make an appointment with my doctor. And if that feels right, then do it. If you think, no, he's just going to tell me this or tell me that, maybe, and then it starts to feel heavy, maybe that week he came into some new, natural, lovely information that is just what you needed to hear. So follow the feeling and notice when you're pressing against it. Like, no, that doesn't make sense. What do you mean? I just have to eat kale chips for a week and then it's gonna just whatever, however bizarre it may sound, just go with it. Just experiment with it. Trust it and play with it. I would love to hear what might come What are you hearing in that? What are you thinking about that?
To be honest, I hearing what I'm already doing technically, because it's I already started to listen more about my body, that what I need, and not following this diet, that diet, buy this, buy that supplement. So it's like I living, how you mentioned it, follow my intuition, that listen to my body, what's come up in the moment, what I need, and how it's not nothing extreme, but obviously we would like to feel the most good as possible. I'm talking about myself,
Yeah.
and keep myself active, and do exercise what I feel right in the moment, not pushing, not do something what I don't want to do. And it's the same with the food, and I getting more sensitive about that, really listening that what kind of food might causing extra bloating or extra problem. I just had one insight previously this week or next week, that I felt terrible heartburn or bloating after one meal, and I recognized that I might drink or eat too much milk. And I started to, even just thinking about the milk, came that disgust feeling, or I don't wish the milk anymore. So I cut the milk, and it seems working. Even I love milk previously, so it was any problem. I just recognize that if I'm not listening, I might start to buy lots of medication and supplements, treat the heartburn, instead of go to the root cause directly, and remove that things what's causing the problem. So it was so interesting, but I try to listen to these intuitions, these inside voices, that when to do what, and it seems working. So it's
Nice. That's awesome.
yeah.
That's awesome. Can I have one thing that I would love to ask, like, what do you want? What is the experience that you want to have with your body right now? How do you want to feel? Someone's in the waiting room.
Yeah, I think that I want my body feel, or go back couple of 10 years. No,
What is the feeling of that?
Yeah, I think it's the body is just wanna feel a little bit more light. That's what I know. It's more light and more easy. I have a couple of
Victoria.
extra weights.
Okay. So when you say that word, light, how does that feel in your body? When you sink into that feeling and just allow yourself to feel light.
It feel light. It feel good.
That's where you put your energy and your attention. So when you want to go into how you were feeling, look towards the feeling that you want to experience, and you experience it right now. Yes?
Yeah.
Yes. That will draw you forward into more and more of that experience of light, and things will shift. Things will change.
Yeah,
Good.
I know as I experiencing more and more insights in every area of my in the life, I think that it's more getting more sensitive and more prone to recognize these insights, these inside voices, what's what makes difference from the noise in the head and
Yeah.
and those deeper thoughts. It's so interesting and it's so beautiful when people getting it, and I getting it definitely. So I think
Yeah.
it's just the time. I'm sure when it come, I will recognize it.
Yeah. It sounds like you're on the right track. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
So great. Yeah. Thank you. That's great. Karan, how are we in time?
Yeah, it's okay. We can take some extra time.
Okay.
Yeah. So I've got like two questions. One is about the addiction, and second
Mhm.
one is about chronic pain.
Mhm.
So I know some people, and I'm from India, and actually, lots of people here, they are addicted to drinking alcohol. They drink at night and they start beating their wives, the husbands,
Mhm.
and their
Mhm.
children. In the morning, when they wake up, like it's 5 o'clock in the morning, they go out, get a bottle of alcohol, and start drinking it.
Mhm.
So, what is the cause of their addiction? As far as I know, I can see they're living a miserable life. They're not happy with their life. So, what might be the cause that they are drinking again and again, even in the morning?
Yeah. Well, they have a whole lot of things that they're, I can't diagnose them, but what I suspect is that they have a whole lot of fear and a whole lot of thinking that's causing them pain, and they're avoiding it. They're trying to, but like, it's not helping, right? Because they keep doing it. So until they understand. I'm going to say these words. These are not my words, but I'm going to put it out there because there's an element of something there that makes sense, but there's also something there that I haven't quite grasped for myself. So this is how I make sense of it. Sometimes reaching for something to help you feel better could be wisdom's way of giving you an alternative to something that could be even worse. Now, I'm just going to throw out this example because this is an example that I use in my head to make sense of it. If the alternative was to commit suicide, drinking to forget would be like a better alternative for that person. Now, that is, so there's, yeah, tell me what you're getting with that, because as I say, there's something that kind of makes sense. And let me talk about making sense. Right now, that is what makes sense for them. In whatever level of consciousness they're in, that is what makes sense for them. That's what they do. Have you ever looked back at something that you've done in the past and you say like, oh my gosh, what was I thinking? Like you would never do that today. But back then it made perfect sense. Not anymore. So that is available to them to experience a shift that, oh, that doesn't make so much sense anymore. Is that helpful? What are you getting from that?
Yeah, that's exactly what I understand. They have problems in their life, lack of money, problem in health and issues. And they are drinking to forget that, to forget the problems, right?
Well, actually, let's take that a little bit deeper. Is it a problem? It's only a problem if your thinking says it is, makes it so. Let's talk about what is. There are facts and there's fiction. So the fact may be that the bank balance is low, and they feel pressure that they can't take care of their family. So the fact is, the bank account is low. That's it. So they could go into, oh my gosh, what if I lose the house? What if it's like, oh my gosh, why did we have so many kids? Or, whatever, all of this thinking. And then it's overwhelming. It's like one thought on top of the other. It's just a mess. And it's like, how can I escape this? So the first thing is, what are the facts? When we can look at things really without all of the thinking about it, what are the facts? Bare bones. I might lose my house. That's not a fact. What are the facts? I don't know how I'm ever going to make enough money. That's story. What are the facts? So if you can bring it down to the facts, what is indisputable. And I'm just saying, a low bank account to one person could be great wealth to another. So even that is thought created.
Great. Great. And what do you think about the chronic pain that people have been suffering from for a long time? They tried different doctors, healers, medicines, massages, and nothing seems to work. So how
Yeah.
can people overcome their chronic pain?
First thing, I would look at, what are the facts and how much story I'm putting on it innocently. It's always a really good start. And then starting to notice when it feels worse and when it feels better. Like, how can you make sense of, I feel chronic pain right now, and then my friend calls me and it's like, and while I was talking on the phone, I wasn't even feeling that. And then I hang up the phone, it's like, oh, there's my chronic pain again. So it's an exploration. It's an active exploration. Noticing when you're not, because yeah, was that helpful? And I'm not saying that there's not something happening in the body that is causing pain. I'm just saying that what I hear of people in pain, it's there and then it's not. When they're distracted or something else, it's diminished. At the minimum, it's diminished. So thought has a role in every aspect of your life.
Wonderful. Okay, so does anybody have any question to ask to Michaela before we just go to the program that she's doing, which she's going to talk about?
First, are you okay if I share it with you?
Sure. But before
Yeah.
that, does anybody have any question to ask?
All right. Thank you.
Okay,
This
all
has
right.
been really good. I've really enjoyed this. And it's always a bonus when I can see something new too. And I always do. I'm going to share my screen again for a moment here. Yeah. Because the only easy button is following your own intuition. That is your easy button. Every other way is hard. There's no quick fix unless it's coming from your your easy button, this easy button. It can be quick. I didn't share this before. I'll just quickly share this. I misused alcohol, and I had an insight. I used to think, oh my gosh, the only way I'm ever going to become enlightened is if I have a near-death experience, because many, many years ago, that's all I heard. People would have a near-death experience and then their life changed and everything was wonderful. And it's just like, oh my gosh, really? Is that what I have to do in order to have a better life? Well, one of those things happened to me, although I didn't nearly die, but I did consume a lot of alcohol. And the next day I was going to a funeral of someone who had committed suicide. Now, when as I was sitting on the bathroom floor in this haze, I very clearly saw through his eyes a light. And the feeling of it was both hopelessness and hope. It was like this contrast, both palpable. That was it. The next day at the funeral, it was embarrassing because I could not stop crying. Like I couldn't open my mouth because I would cry. Like, and it was just, even into that night, I had someone stay with me who had come in for the funeral, and they're like, wow, like, holy. It's like, I know, I don't know what's wrong with me. I never drank. It was days before I realized that, oh my gosh, I'm not drinking. And I had no desire to. So that can happen. But I know in the principles community, I know I did, I waited around for another big insight, like I had about my body back in March 2021. Don't wait for those big insights. You're having them all the time. Source is guiding you 24/7. You're always being shown something. So it doesn't have to be this big, huge thing where you've got insights available to us 24/7. And they drip in. So that's your easy button. Sorry, I got carried away. So I'm leading, it's a 12-week program, Love and Live Your Body Now 101. We do a lot, and it's going to be experiential. There's going to be action taken and experiments taken, and we're going to learn how to discern when we're allowing and when we're opposing. We're going to take all of the things that happen to us throughout the day in our work, wherever we kind of bump into, and we're just going to explore and see for ourselves that, oh yeah, the body really is just a tool, just a vehicle. It doesn't do anything more than allow us to express who we really are. So it's beginning December 14th to March 1st, 11 a.m. Well, I guess you're probably reading that already. $447 US or 3 payments of $157. First 5, I'll do a 60-minute private coaching session together. That would be lovely. And I'm keeping it small, maxing it out at 15 people. And yeah, we begin on the 14th. So I'm going to sort of cut off registration on December the 12th. So what you could expect is more time, freedom, and a desire to do what you really want. Less blaming, complaining about, comparing, criticizing your body, honoring your body and feeling more content within it, and really less thinking about your body overall, which I can't tell you how much more time and energy I have. And I'm not even done this journey. I'm still in it. But I have seen so much that I have to share. I have to invite people on this journey, in this experience, in this exploration to free. And for heaven's sake, let's live our life how it's meant to be lived and wanting to be lived. It's fun. There's so much more fun to be had. So getting a sense that you're okay, no matter what someone says the health of your body, it just doesn't matter. To have more quiet and peace, and to trust in yourself, or harmony in relationships. Because of course, this isn't true just here. This is true in all aspects of your life. I shared that I had purchased a program in the community, and it was around the body, or money. Sorry, it was around money. And the same thing. I could have pulled out the word money and put in body. It's all the same. It's all thought created. So I will, if it resonates, join me. I would love to leave you with just kind of one thing about compassion, unless you have questions. It's very short. And it's the understanding that everyone, especially coming into this holiday season, which is what I love about this program too, because it's like a high pressure season. There's lots of, there's lots of things going on with the body and family dynamics and New Year's and all of that. So it's a really good time to support and be in a community together. And one of the things going into this season, if you can remember and just sort of, is that everyone is also being guided by this energy source, and they may not know either. So they're doing the best they can with what they are thinking. And when they think differently, they'll do differently. But in the meantime, it just lead with listening and that understanding, a little bit of grace. And I think it will serve you well going through the season. So I really appreciate you being here. And Karan, thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Good presentation. So thank you very much for putting it out there. Thank you, Karan, for hosting this. It's great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Great. Awesome. Thanks, Darlene. Yeah. Cool. All right.
All right, everyone. Thank you very much for being here and showing your beautiful presence. I want to thank you all, and we'll be talking soon. Bye-bye. Aloha.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Kyle.
Thanks.
Great
Bye.
presentation.
Bye. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hope it was helpful.